Welcome back to Cheyenne Country. We are celebrating a special anniversary, 40 years for Ronnie MacDowell since
Can you believe that?
It's gone. That was your first song, right?
That was 40 years ago, and we were talking about that off the air. And it seems like 6 months ago.
Time goes fast.
And I was in Nashville the other day, and I went into this building to do an interview, and I looked over to the left, and where I recorded The King Is Gone in Music City Recorders is now a parking lot. And it was so sad to me because just it seemed like a few months ago it was still there. So it's kind of sad that they tear things like that down.
It's amazing, though, your whole start, and I guess a lot of your reputation has been built around the King, Elvis Presley.
Well, it was built primarily at first. That's how I got started in the business, but really that's not true. Because when I got out of Vietnam, I'm a proud 3-term combat veteran. Got out
U.S. Navy, like my dad.
Yep. Got out in May of '72, and I started writing songs. And one of the first people I wrote a song for at 21 years old was Johnny Cash. Wow. Porter Wagner, the Wilburn Brothers, Billy Walker, Jeannie Shepherd. I had Roy Drusky's follow-up to "Look yonder, there comes Jody and the kid." So, you know, I was writing songs and having a ball. And when Elvis passed away that afternoon, I never will forget, because my number, I feel like we all have a number. Mine is 222. And I was in my Camaro in Nashville, and I turned the radio on. I just rehearsed with my band, and the DJ goes, "It's official, Elvis Presley has passed away." Well, I was Elvis's biggest fan, still am, but I was everybody's big fan, you know. And so before I got to Rivergate in Goodlettsville, where I lived, I had that part of that song written. It just flowed out of me. Being a songwriter, I was barely 6 years old when I first heard him sing. True story, by the way. And from that moment on, I knew it'd be a lifetime thing. So every bit of that I wrote, in 15 minutes. Now, I know this is hard to conceive and believe, but 2 weeks later, it had already sold 1 million records. Now, is that not a way to kick off a career?
Yeah.
My life,
on you.
yeah, my life went like that to like that. I mean, just instantly. And 3 weeks later, I was on American Bandstand. Never will forget. That song had already shot to number 9 on the pop charts because it had sold like 1 million records, and Dick Clark flew me out to be on American Bandstand. What a dream, because I'd been watching that since 1956, 57. And I was sitting in the makeup room, and never will forget, and he walked up to me, and I was just like scared to death, you know, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Clark, I'm sure glad that y'all pantomime. I've been watching you since 57, and I don't really know this song that well. It's brand spanking new." And he goes, "Well, Ronnie, we don't do that anymore." He said, "You got to sing it live." My heart froze. Oh, can you imagine? In front of 40, 60 million people. And when that little red light came on, I want you to know, if you Google me singing "The King Is Gone" on American Bandstand, I never missed a syllable. Oh, wow. And so either Elvis or the good Lord was hanging out with me. So
somebody was looking after you.
Yeah.
So many great songs and a New York Minute. You're going to ruin my bad reputation. That's a good one. Watching Girls Go By. You've had so many hits.
Thank you. And by the way, Watching Girls Go By, I wrote that in '80 as a follow-up to Older Women.
Yeah. Wasn't that a Bob Luman hit?
No.
That's a different one. Okay.
No, Bob Luman was Lonely Women.
Oh, Lonely Women. Yours was the Older Women.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Which was written by Jamie O'Hara of the O'Kanes. And Jamie had written Wandering Eyes for me just before that. And I never will forget, we was going to record, and Jamie said, "Ronnie, you got to do this song." I said, "Jamie, I've already told you, I don't think women want to be known as older women." It's kind of like not an ego boost for him. He said, "Ronnie, dadgummit," he said, "my girlfriend's 38 and I'm 30 and I know what I'm talking about. And I want you to know we went down. This is a true story. Buddy Killen, my producer, I talked him into using the Jordanaires, because I wanted the Jordanaires on my record, because I loved Ricky Nelson, of course Elvis, and Patsy Cline, and the Jordanaires were on everybody's record. So I didn't even know Older Women. he just sang it for me with a guitar. I had the lyric. True story. I went through it one time, walked into the control room, Buddy Killen stood up and he goes, "What else do we need to do?" And I said, "Buddy, I just did it one time. I don't know that song." And he said, "Listen, #1 record."
#1.
See, when it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
It definitely is. A lot of these stories are captured in your autobiography, bringing it to you personally.
Yes, after a #1 song in Cashbox that we had, and I love this song, and we thought this was the appropriate title for this book. And this book can be got at RonnieMacDowellBook.com or on Amazon. And you know, this has been a blessing in my life that you would not believe. There's nothing negative in this book. I told the author, Scott England, I said, "Scott, I'll do this if we keep everything positive." And he said, "How are we going to do that? Don't you have negative things in your life?" And I said, "That's what I'm talking about. There's enough of that."
Yeah.
And I want you to know we made everything positive.
Yeah.
So what a blessing this book has been.
Wonderful. And y'all check out his artwork because he still salutes all the heroes, like from Elvis Presley to Conway Twitty. This is all his original artwork. You are amazing talent.
Oh, well,
Ronnie
thank you.
MacDowell.
Jack of all trades and master of none.
I'm telling you, we love you. We love you.
Thank you.